Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Elsa Nilson, our professional of the year, joining us today live to talk more about her work as a certified professional interior redesigner, decorator, professional organizer at Elsa's Divine Design, and so much more. First and foremost, congratulations. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Jill. It's an honor to be back with you. Always enjoying talking to you.
Well, same here. We are really excited to talk more onto the coaching side and dive into this all with you, the relationship with self and everything that is so important to you. Before we get started for today, please just give us a little overview as to who you are, what you do, and then we're going to dive a little deeper into the company.
All right. I live in Snellville, close to Atlanta in the US, and I've been in this business of decluttering and organizing and decorating for a little bit over 10 years, like actually 12 years. Enjoy it a lot. And then I'm also a master life coach and health coach to help people to live their best lives.
Yeah, because a lot of time this is also related. I know we spoke about it in the past, but the whole home being cluttered, the office being cluttered, I speak from experience, does stem from something else that's going on internally inside of our minds, our bodies. And so it's amazing that you're so unique that you're able to do all of this, type of work to help someone really full circle. So thank you again for being here. And we're going to
Yeah.
talk now about your company. Again, it's Elsa's Divine Design and Organizing. Now, again, decluttering, organizing homes, but also a certified master life coach with Divine Life and Healing Coaching. So let's talk a little more in detail about how all these services really do connect and run together.
All right. So, like I said, I started this decorating and organizing and especially decluttering for people so many years ago. But as I also put amazing systems in place, I found that my clients keep on having problems to keep the systems in place because their lives are so extremely busy and we are just overwhelmed with so much responsibilities. So I realized there's some things that lays a little bit deeper. And that is why I decided I need to educate myself because clutter that I do on the outside, on the physical, that is just the things that we see now. And that is the things that we can see every day. But the deeper clutter is the things that are inside of us. And that's the things that are overlooked because you don't really see it. And if you don't give attention to that, then your will be totally cluttered on the outside as well. So that is why the inner work is so important together with the outer work.
Beautiful. Thank you for explaining that to us. It is true. We've seen this time and time again. I know we talked about certain clients of yours, talked about my personal experience, and it's so true. These things do really go hand in hand with each other. So I really love that you're here to also help, not just declutter, because if you honestly come into someone's home and do the decluttering process, guess what? If they're not fixed internally, it's going to happen again right away. So let's talk about
That's
why
true.
do we need to give this attention to some of those maybe inner blocks, as you say, that could be standing away, in us living our best lives.
Okay, so whenever we get to a place where we feel like we're doubting ourselves or we are unsure about what we're supposed to do, we're not motivated, we feel passive, and we just can't get our feet out of bed in the morning, we sometimes feel like, okay, so why am I not motivated? Do I have a lack of self-confidence, or what is the issue here? But we don't really realize that is just a reason. There might be that you have so not good self-confidence, but there's a reason why. So we have to go in deeper and see what is it that really hurt you so deeply, so that we can get to the root of the problem. And we can, a lot of times we would think, you know, when we walk this earth, it doesn't matter if you're 25 years old or 75 years old. If we walk this earth, we have trauma. It doesn't mean we have big T trauma like sexual abuse or a death of a family member that was close to us. It doesn't mean it have to be that. It could be small T trauma, like a kid in first grade. He had this a little friend from 3 years of age. They went to school together, and by the end of the year, he lost that friend because he made friends with somebody else, and they feel rejected. They feel alone, and they don't understand their emotions, but it stays as a small t trauma deep inside of them. And that is when why it's so important for us to go in deeper and get that up to the surface. If we can find the root of the problem and we can bring it up and we can work through that, that we can actually heal that trauma, that is the time that we can actually step forward and start living a better life.
Beautiful. Well, could you share a little bit more in depth and detail about what type of mindset blocks are we experiencing? So I like this, idea. You're right. Thinking about childhood trauma could have been something as that. Could you give us some other examples of some other things that maybe we've went through? And I want to also, associate or dissociate mindset compared to mental block, the two of those as well.
Okay, so a mindset block is that negative thoughts and feelings that you have that are actually standing in your way for achieving your real goals. And a mindset blocks, there are certain ones that can particularly be very damaging to you. And we can see at a few of those examples of them. One very big one that people have these days is perfectionism. They want to have everything perfect. And that is just not a standard that we can keep on running on. Somewhere, it's going to be really, really hard for us to keep that up. So, for example, we want to start a business and we have the excuse, no, we don't have a website. So we can't start this business. And my husband, for example, had a very successful business for many, many, many years, and he never had a website. He still doesn't have a website. So it doesn't mean you have to have that website. So that is just, an illusion. And sometimes they will have a website and they would say, but I don't have any photos there. And later they have the photos, but I don't have enough testimonies on there. So
Yes.
you can't keep that perfectionism to have it perfect before you step out and take the chance and start the business. And also, what you would see with that perfectionism, another one that's coming up is procrastination, because because you want everything so passive and so perfect. Now all of a sudden, you are procrastinating to do things. Um,
Hmm. Guilty.
Another big one for us these days are overwhelm. We all are working so hard. We have so many responsibilities. And especially for the women in today's world, we are trying to keep so many balls in the air. We're trying to be the best wife, the best mother, a career, the
Just
home
juggle
should be
everything. I'm like a juggler right now. Yes.
totally. And sometime one of that glass balls are going to fall. So you need to be able to balance that a little bit better.
Hmm.
I would say another mindset block that's really big for people today is imposter syndrome. They feel like a fraud because life is happening so fast, and they think that they're going to be found out because they don't know everything and they pretend to be this person. Although the evidence is there, they are qualified, they can do it, but they keep on having this imposter syndrome that they are not good enough to do this specific thing. So that's another big one. And the last big one I will touch on is comparison,
Got
because
it.
people compare themselves endlessly to other people. They want to be like somebody. They want to have the knowledge of somebody else. They think they have to appear in front of a camera the way a certain person does. And the best way is to be yourself, just to be authentically yourself. That would take away that comparison totally. You would see that people actually love you more because they can feel the true person coming through when you don't try and be compared to somebody else.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Oh, I got goosebumps on this one. And I mean, I clearly you're passionate about the work you're doing. You love helping people with this. And I love that you wear so many hats and you're juggling everything. Do you still find struggling in your life when it comes to this? Or have you perfected the decluttering, the organizing, the mental chaos? Are you at a good place? I mean, you're doing it professionally, but do you still
Yeah.
have downfalls and are you human like us too, or no?
We all are just
Uh,
human. We all are human. My home, I try to keep really up, which is much easier since my kids are out of the house. They're all growing, and that's easier, that part. But my husband is two children together, so it's a lot to keep up with
Yeah.
that. But my home is, I would say, in an easier place than the mental
Okay.
clutter, because that's things that you pick up everywhere
Yeah.
when you're out there, and people put pressure on you and they have expectations of you. And so that clutter comes in, and very often I just have to sit down and start investigating and see what is going on inside there. So no, nobody's perfect. We all will have to keep on working on it.
Beautiful. Thank you for your honesty. We appreciate that. Everything is a progress, right? All right.
Yes.
So, where were we? I'm sorry. We go off script for a little while, but that's okay. It's part of the
Yes.
conversation. Inner blocks, right? We were talking about giving
The
importance.
mindset blocks. Yes.
Yes.
The
Go
different
ahead.
mindset blocks. Yes. So, but you were also asking about the mental block. What
Yes.
is a mental block? And a mental block gets created from living in or working in a very anxiety induced environment. And that can be the reason for people that you're surrounded with, or at the workplace, or in your home where you live. But it could also be clutter that's surrounding you, that you just can't find the peace. And this mental block is in front of you because when you get into your house, you try to make food, but the sink is still full of stuff. There's things on the counter, and all that clutter is just really a mental block. And you can also have a mental block from mentally being exhausted. I just listened to a podcast of Mel Robbins that were talking about that we are making 35,000 decisions every single day. So
Wow.
by tonight, so by tonight, we have mental fatigue, and that
Hmm.
is absolutely a mental block.
Got it. Oh,
Yes.
so many of them I can't keep up. 35,000. Ay, ay,
Yeah.
ay. All right. Well, what else on tap for us today? Because there's also, we want to be our best version of ourselves, right? And, the importance of we got to pay attention to these. So how do we know where to start if there's so many, blocks in our lives?
Okay, so that's a very good question, Joel. So, you always start with a relationship with
Okay.
yourself. Your relationship with self is always going to be the most important and the most crucial relationship that you will ever have in your whole entire life. You see, the way that we are actually holding ourselves in this world, it forms vibrations and it sends messages into the world of who we really are, what we deserve, and how we should be treated. So that is why it's so important that you have a good relationship with yourself.
Hmm. And obviously you can work on this for both of us because some people don't know how. And what is this, relationship with ourselves? What does it really all like entail? Could you elaborate on that?
Well, it is what we believe in. And do we believe in ourselves? How do we relate to ourselves? But also our emotions, the judgments that we have, and also the perceptions that we have about our self-worth. All of those things are very important, but also the conversations that we have in our own minds. Because, we always have this internal conversations with ourselves. And you can just, by sitting 2 minutes, sit with yourself, you can test yourself and you can see where your relationship is standing with yourself. Because if you sit with yourself and you say things like, dang it, you can't do nothing right. I don't know if you would ever reach that goal. That means that your
Yeah.
relationship is not so good with yourself. But if you
Mm-hmm.
sit with yourself and what is going on in the mind is things like, man, you know what? You really can do that. It might not be easy, but
Yeah.
it's totally possible. It's totally possible. You've got this, and your own motivator behind yourself. Then you also know that your relationship with yourself is much closer already. But a relationship with self is not only about the decisions and the choices and those kind of things that you do. We are having an interaction with ourselves every single day, from the
Yeah.
morning until the evening, from we wake up till we go to bed, even into our dreams, because depending on what you were thinking about the day, about yourself, you're probably going to dream about stuff like that as well. So
Yeah.
that is just part of your relationship with yourself. But when a person really walks in, she does what she says, that person walk in integrity. And when you walk in integrity and people see that you're a person that walks in integrity, doesn't matter what,
Yeah.
doesn't matter the circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
people can see that, that is when you aligned with your highest aspirations of yourself.
Beautiful.
And many years ago, just to tell you a little story of relationship with self of myself, many years ago, maybe around 25 years ago, I used to be addicted to chips.
Oh.
I I loved salt and vinegar chips, and doesn't matter if
I do too. I have Lay's actually in my cabinet. Guilty, guilty.
any
Sorry.
guilty as charged. Well, anyway, so doesn't matter if I was frustrated, if I felt let down by somebody,
Mm-hmm.
if I couldn't achieve the goal as well as I wanted to. The moment that I feel that feelings, my emotions got all messed up, I will grab the chips and I will start eating that chips. And man, oh man, I wouldn't stop until I finished that whole entire bag. And it will just go the moment I will come to my senses, the moment that I finish the bag. But then I go into this guilty circle.
Remorse. I am so with you, specifically on potato chips in general. That's me. Yeah, I can eat
Yeah.
more than one bag, but you're right. So
Uh,
at the end, then you're like, you feel
yes,
horrible.
you feel horrible. It feels like you don't have any control of what you're doing.
Nope.
So it went on like that with me for a while. And every time that I go through this vicious cycle, I could feel that there's a wedge between my essence and my
Mm-hmm.
ego.
Yep.
And that wedge every time is just going further apart. And that means that I'm getting removed
Yep.
further apart from myself. So my relationship really got to a bad place with myself. And that was when I had to get to a place to um, get help, ask a coach to
Yep.
help me, that I have somebody in my corner that can cheer me on, to lay out a map of how we're going to conquer this and what we're going to do to get to the other side of this. And I'm telling you, if you do the inner work, I can promise you, you will live a freer and more satisfying life. If you
Ah,
don't give, yeah, if you don't get to that and you don't work on that, and
mm-hmm.
you get stuck in the past, what happens when you get stuck in the past is it have like a ripple effect into every area of your life, because your relationship with yourself will show um, in your career, in your close relationship with other people, even your home life. Are you, how are you with the people around you in your house? How are you with that? So if your relationship with yourself is good, all of that areas will be just so much easier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, by the way, just I'm Catholic, and for Lent I gave up potato chips this year, and I just
Oh,
realized yesterday or Sunday I could have had them, but I didn't. But that's how I am addicted to my potato chips as well. And
oh,
what happens, and then the
congratulations.
pain I feel though after I eat like that. So I did give it up. My favorite treat in the world, and I do love those salt and vinegar. So wow, totally relating to me today. Ah,
We
okay,
could
so
have been sisters, Jill.
I know, right? So you're working, with the client and the relationship with self. And what other categories are you working on in a sense?
Well, that is going to differ a lot. Again, a very good question because I know there's going to be viewers and listeners that would want to know those things. So I'm just going to take one example because I work with that a lot. I get a lot of women that went through divorce and they come out of a very battered marriage. So immediately they're going to have a very low self-esteem. They're not going to be encouraged about life. And a lot of them are coming out of a marriage with a lot of control. So they never had the opportunity to really grow themselves. They never did the finances. So they don't know how to work with money. And also, they didn't make a lot of decisions about the kids. And apart from that, they couldn't even make a lot of decisions for themselves. They just had to say yes and amen and, continue forward. And so, well, with those people, I will start with four categories just to get them back. And that will be self awareness so that they can understand their own thoughts and feelings and also understand their own strengths and their weaknesses. And then after that, we will go to self acceptance, that they can just accept their own flaws and their own imperfections and just know who they are. So if you go to that acceptance stage and you're already there, that is when we can go to the next stage of self compassion. Because treating yourself with compassion is extremely important, especially if you went through difficult times and that you can understand also yourself why you went through all that different things. And then if you got at least to that, then you can get to your self-love stage. And that is where you learn to love the positives about yourself and your attitudes, your good attitudes towards yourself. And that at that self-love stage is where you see the person totally start changing. Because if you love yourself, you're also getting to that place with a good relationship with yourself. And then, of course, after that, there's many categories. It depends on who the client is, where he came from, where he's at right now, and what is his goal, what does he want to achieve. But in this case, with a woman that went through that, she would do things like we will discuss the kids. How are we going to help them and support them to get them through this difficult time? How are we going to do the finances? This is the job that you receive. That is your income. This is all your outgoings. Let's put it on paper. Let's map it out, see how you can get through every month and where there's shortage, what are we going to do about it? Where are we going to find the extra money? So we have to go into depth then with the finances as well and every category that she needs help in.
Beautiful. Wow. I love hearing this. We still have 4 more minutes left on the show. I just want to make sure we have enough time to, continue speaking. Just want to let you know. Wow. Okay. Any other examples you want to give?
I think for that example, that is a really
Yeah.
kind of it, but there will be a lot of things because also that woman, for example, she would be kind of being isolated a little bit when there's a lot of control. So she will have a different kind of relationship with other people as well. So you will have to talk and work on how she will impact her future relationships. And we will go through mental and emotional health and things like that as well.
Beautiful. Wow. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this is so insightful. This is wonderful. And by the way, okay, Elsa, you're working with homes, with people now. Are you working with them all in person or is it virtual? Tell us, where you can help people.
I can, in my area, I work far. I can do locally, I can physically do the decluttering and organizing and everything. But if I have a client that want to do organizing that's further away, that will be included in their package of their coaching, and we will get to the place where we need to declutter, and we will be able to do that virtually as well. And apart from that, if there's people that comes to a place I need, I declare now, but now I need some help in my closet. So help me with what is the best things to use to dress at my age, what colors, what all that kind of things. Then we give attention to that as well. And it all can happen virtually as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time here. Always a pleasure having you. How can we reach out to you?
For my coaching, you can reach out at, it's actually very easy. You can look online for my website at coachelsa.com. And also, you can get me by email at at elsa.com or gmail.com, sorry. And
Okay.
also for the people in the US, 770-548-3890.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Always amazing conversation, and really excited that we are connecting. And again, congratulations. And we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jill. And you have a wonderful day.
You too. Bye bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.